Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and we're just going to do a quick little update today. We had a lot of people asking about what we had going on with the 33. It's a 33, just so you guys know. 33 three-window coupe project that is now kind of gotten pushed itself towards the front of the line because it's awesome.
It's also on a 33 frame too.
Yes, yeah, we found out. So I had a friend that hit me up that is a 33 and 34 expert, and he and I did a little phone call and he kind of went over it. And one of the things he mentioned that kind of gave away that it's a 33 frame. I did not know this, so I'm regurgitating information I just learned. So this hole right here tells you it's a 33 because they mounted these shocks inboard on the frame on 33 only, and 34 they were mounted on the outside. So he saw that in the video and mentioned that and let me know that, which was really awesome, so thank you. And then we also looked at the body, and obviously the doors, you know, are kind of a giveaway. The little clips here, even though, so what, somebody was probably running a 34 hood because of the hole here, and that threw me off. And also somebody pounded in the little notch for a 34 hood to sit it in there. So they pounded it in, but what gave it away, it's still a 33, is it has these little clips here for the hood that is a 33 only thing. And then of course the doors, and then the header panel that's in a 33 three-window is much like a 32 three-window that has like wood in there. So all those things together confirm that the car is a real 33 on a 33 frame, which is really awesome. So in this video, we're going to go over kind of the plans, but I'm also going to give you guys some of my wish list. So if anybody out there
shopping list,
if you guys want to trade, wheel and deal, I'm going to be broke shortly, so I may need to do some trading to get some stuff. So I have a really nice 34 grill that is an older re-chrome job that I had on it, but now that I learned it's a 33, I would love to get a perfectly shitty 33 grill. So I have a 34 grill I'd potentially swap for one.
Do you want to explain the differences for people that don't know? So
a 34 grill is straight up and down here. 33 grill has like a little scoop here that comes out, and it's just a small little difference. Most people wouldn't notice, but because we found out it's all 33, I'd like to try and get the right stuff for it. So I have this grill that's been on the wall for a while. It's actually too nice for the car, believe it or not, because I'm trying to leave it like old and perfectly shitty. So that's kind of some of that stuff. What I've decided is I'm going to take some of my old chrome stuff and put it together on this car because I have a bunch of it laying around.
Is that what you're going to do with that car?
Some, but not as much.
You have too much old chrome, apparently.
It's a good thing. It's an addiction, and it's bad. So I have an old chrome V860 axle we got in Florida. You guys may remember Kate and I went on a Disney vacation, and I wrapped my underwear in that V860 axle and brought it home, and I knew I'd have the right project for it. So I have an old set of chrome, like 37, 39 or to 40 spindles, roundback spindles that are chrome and undropped that will go well with that axle. I picked up in my Ohio trip a chrome front end, and I scavenged the chrome drums and backing plates from that axle. So I have those sitting here for it. So I'm gonna put all that stuff under it. I'd love to find a set of old chrome front wishbones, whether they're split or not split, but split would be really awesome. To put on here and just detail the thing up with some old chrome. I'm not going to clean the stuff up. It'll kind of look just like it does.
Perfectly shitty. Perfectly
shitty. So that is the plan for the front end. I got most of the front end parts, which is really awesome. So we can just kind of put it in there. I think I even have a spring laying around that might work. So the engine, you guys saw that we mocked up the engine on this. And people were asking what the plan was for this. So I was kind of asking around some different people because I wasn't just going to take this engine and have just Joe Schmo down the street build up an Ardun, especially a blown Ardun. And I'm not an engine builder by any means, so I do need some direction with that stuff. So one of the legends, or the legend of Arduns and Scot blowers and stuff is Ronnie Roadster. And Ron is like one of the fastest guys with the Ardun stuff, going over 200 miles an hour. He's the man, he's the legend. Didn't know him by any means, and I hit up Nick the Bandit. Nick is a New England guy, and he knew Ron for a very long time, was nice enough to give me his number, and I spoke with Ron the other day, and we had a nice long talk. He kind of got my head in the right place for taking this engine to him to have it get done. I now know exactly what parts he wants me to gather for my stash. So that's the plan. I'm gonna get Ron the engine. He's the guy, he knows all the tricks. He has a 32 Roadster with like over 100,000 miles with a with a blown Ardun on it. And yeah, he's the guy. So it's gonna be really cool. We're gonna do a visit with Ron and bring him the engine, and he's gonna go over. You guys have been asking about like some of the differences or the show, what's involved in doing this conversion. This is the first time I've owned this stuff, so that's why I can't really talk about it, because I'm clueless as far as the nuts and bolts of doing the conversion. But Ron does know that. I asked Ron, and he was nice enough to say that we could take a visit and he would go over like what I have and what needs to be done and some of that stuff. So that'll be really cool. So as soon as I get all my parts gathered together in one place and ready to go, we're gonna take a trip up to Ron and visit him. So one of the things I decided after talking to Ron, and I was already kind of thinking about doing it, is we need some extra room in the front because of it being a 33-34. The crankshaft is like on top of the crossmember, and the water outlets are running into it because of the way this crossmember is on the 33-34. So there's a little bit of room behind the heads here, about little over 2 inches. So I want to slide the engine back like that 2 inches. And what's really nice about it is there's some room back at the trans crossmember where there's about 3 inches of room to slide the trans back and stay on that cross member. So we're gonna be doing that here pretty soon before I send all the parts away, is work on sliding the engine back and making some new engine mounts that are further back in the frame. It's gonna help us get some room in the front here for the radiator, the front pulleys, all that stuff is gonna help us. But I wanna do that while we have the head still, so I know that how far I can actually slide it back. So that's kind of the game plan for that. Now the next problem we have, and my next cry for help, is I have an old chrome 37 LaSalle transmission that's been chopped in the back and was converted to a Ford torque tube. It has a Ford transmission mount and torque tube set up on the back. It's splined and set up for everything for torque tubes, so it's out of an old hot rod, Ford hot rod. I need an adapter to go from Flathead to 37 LaSalle or 50 olds. They use the same bell housing. So there is an old Offenhauser adapter that's out there floating around that some people have. We'll put the part number down here below because I forget it off the top of my head. If anybody knows about one of those adapters floating around, I already contacted Offenhauser. They have no plans to make another batch of them, and they don't have any in stock. So dead end there. So if anybody has one of them, I would love to trade or buy one of those adapters or kits. If somebody has one dusty on the shelf, I would love to have one. So it's a Flathead to CAD LaSalle or 50 olds bell housing or adapter. So once we do that, we can put that trans on it, get the engine moved back, and we'll be doing pretty good on that. So that is the engine setup here.
No other parts needed?
No, not really. I mean, unless somebody has an original Scot Ardun blower manifold, which they don't exist. So parts-wise, I'm going to end up buying probably from H&H, pick up one of their Austin blower intakes that they have for the Arduns that are like unmachined, and Ron's going to set that up how he wants to do his magic, which will be really awesome. But as far as parts needed, I got most of the stuff I need. I'm going to use this really neat. I should just go get it.
We'll show them the transmission while we're over
Oh
there.
yeah, we'll take a tour. Take a walk with me. Oh yeah, I got this too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Facebook Marketplace rules. So I just got lucky one morning. There was a bunch of people that I know that were like, damn it, when I commented sold. Guy listed this on one of the Flathead groups on Facebook, and I snatched up, or one of the hot rod groups, but it's an old chrome 59AB style oil pan. But what's really neat is it's got a port for like running an old mechanical oil temperature gauge in it. And then it's got a breather that somebody put in it. Now, I don't know for sure, but commonly, a lot of times you needed to put these breathers in when it was a blown engine to kind of relieve some of the pressure so you don't pop your dipstick out. So that was really cool because A, it's old chrome, it's got the port in it, it's got the breather, it's like meant to be. So I bought this, and I think I paid it was pretty cheap. It was like 125 bucks, but then the guy took it to the FedEx store and it was $120 to ship it from Illinois. And I had already agreed to pay it, and he was standing there like texting me like, do you want it or not? So
they did package it very well.
They did package it really well, but man, that stuff's expensive as shit. But anyways, it was worth it. It's really cool. Transmission's like back in here, 37 LaSalle. It's got the Ford tail shaft on it, which is really cool.
Ardun Valley pan.
Yeah, valley cover. I don't know if I'll be able to use that or not. But anyways, part I wanted to show you guys, it's really cool. You can see we're not organized by any means. So my buddy Pete had this. He got it from, I think, a guy in Sweden that he trades with, and he's had it in his stash for years, and I just bought it actually from him. This is I think it's European, and also maybe the Simca engines that were making the little V860s or later on into time. But this is a Ford script right angle drive for a distributor. It's a 3-bolt style for an earlier engine. And this is a right angle drive for the distributor that will bolt onto the flathead, and then he used they had their own distributor that this ran off of. So I'm going to use this because it's really cool, and it's got the Ford script, and have this modified to work with like a Vertex style magneto that we can run the right angle. So this is just all these key pieces that, putting it all together. So it's going to take some work to get all this stuff to happen, but that's one of the key pieces that we're going to be using. So super excited for that. So floor pans and all that stuff. So I have we have a great people that watch the channel. I have a lot of people that reach out to help out, which is awesome. So we had a gentleman that reached out that wants to keep himself anonymous. But anyways, he's a 33, 34 expert, and he has a lot of experience with making like reproduction floor pans for years now. He offered to do some wheeling and dealing with me, and he's going to help me make some custom rockers and floor pans. So on this car, you can see it is channeled to freaking death. It's like something like an 8-inch channel or 7 3/4. I forget what we figured out it was.
It's perfect amount.
It's so much. But anyways, he has the ability to make reproduction floor pans, and then also these inner rocker sill area. So he is going to be helping me to make some reproduction with like the dies he has of these inner rockers for this car that are channeled. So we got a bunch of measurements, and we're hoping to pick them up on our way to Moultrie this year. I'm going to be doing a little road trip down to Moultrie, and we're hoping to stop and pick that stuff up if he can get that done in time. So that will be really cool. So soon we'll be putting floors in this thing and these inner rockers to get the body kind of like braced up, and it's not floppy, but we definitely want to be careful moving it around if we were to pull it off. So if we can get floors and these inner rockers in, I can fix the little bit of rust that's down in these lower areas here. And yeah, then we can kind of start moving with different things like that. So the other things I'm missing that I would love to find, and as stupid as it sounds, the ashtrays for these 44 dashes.
What's funny is you just sold a 44 dash.
Yeah, I just sold a 44 dash with like nice ashtrays. But I'd love to find a set of ashtrays to put in here. I'm going to make some kind of gauge panels to go in the dash, because they narrowed the dash at the speaker grill area and then also in the gauge cluster area. So the dash, nothing fits that's stock. So I think I'm just going to make little like panels, maybe turned aluminum panels or something, to put in there with some gauges. So I got a bunch of gauges on the shelf, obviously. So I think I'm good there, but that's the plan. Oh, we found these at Carlisle. They're old chrome rear radius rods that were split. So we're going to run those with the rear.
So,
I'm going to, go ahead.
No, continue. I'm sorry I'm interrupting.
Well, you keep me on track a lot of times. So one thing I don't like that this car has, it has the earlier rear in it, and the tires are like,
I think this side is actually touching, isn't it? It's like smashed into it.
I think the body's sitting a little like crooked, like these cars like to sit. However, the spring's sitting. But I want to get a rear that's a little wider. I think this has like the 34 rear under it, and they're kind of narrow. So I'd like to get a slightly wider rear. I'm going to be running a quick change with this, but that's some of the stuff I have to gather, find a donor rear that I can get axles and the axle tubes, so we can get that stuff all set up and everything. So
chrome. They need to be chrome.
Yeah. It would be cool if they were chrome.
And
also,
torque tube. You need a chrome torque tube then
this is
too.
obnoxious. So
Chrome rear brakes.
I don't think we're going to go that crazy, but we'll see what we find. But so that's some of the plans that I have for this, but I really, really need that trans adapter to kind of start like tinkering on this car.
Garnish molding, windshield.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Bike's right. So I need a windshield frame, preferably stock height so we can chop it. But I would like something that's got like perfectly shitty chrome. So I don't want something that's like rotted and, like holes in it, but I also don't want a brand new aluminum, reproduction one. And then of course, garnish molding, which is gonna hurt to find.
I mean, you're building an Ardun overhead valve, so
It's all gonna hurt.
it's all. Might just keep on going.
This is the recorded version of when we find out Matt goes bankrupt. So yeah, so I'd love to find some garnish molding. 33 3-window garnish molding would be my pie in the sky hope. But if I can find 34s, you know, I'll live with it. But if I can find garnish molding, I'm not in a hurry on those particularly, but definitely a windshield frame would be awesome so that we can start kind of getting some of that stuff set up. Would be really cool. So that's kind of, I think, where we're at. Oh, wheels. Everybody was commenting on the 18-inch Halibrands that I wanted to run. I'm not going to run them. I'm going to keep them shelved for something else. They just don't work on this car sometimes. This car is a good example. I've had a lot of these parts just sitting on the shelf, and I've had this car built in my head for years. But even before I had these parts, I had an idea of I wanted a 3-window that was channeled and blah, blah, blah. So in my head, I saw those Halibrands as like one of the things. As soon as we mocked up, they don't look right. They don't work with this car. So I'm going to run some just 16-inch 40 Ford style wheels, solid wheels. And I found in my stash, digging around the other week, so these are 3.5 inch. I don't know where it is here. So V8 60 wheels were actually narrower, so they're pretty sought after. So this is a set of 40 Ford 3.5 inch V8 60 wheels that are perfect for the front. So you can run some little small
Pizza cutter.
Yeah, small tires in the front, and then I'll run like some 750 16s with like Mercury hubcaps. It's not really like anything groundbreaking, but I think it'll fit the car, and sometimes the simpler route is what makes sense, and I just let the car talk to me, and we put those wheels up next to it, and it's like, it just doesn't work with the look of the car. So, bummer, but it'll be pretty easy to get the tires. So I'm gonna order up some tires soon, dig a set of just standard like 4.5 inch, probably 46, 48 rear wheels, and get them cleaned up and get a set of tires on the rear and the front so we can start playing with the height. I think I want to raise the rear end of the car a little bit. In the shots when we when we were mocking the car up, I actually had a jack under and was getting the rear end up. So I'd like to raise the rear just a little bit because it's got almost like an ass down stance. So I'd like to get the rear end just sitting up just a little bit, but still keep that kind of hard channeled East Coast look that it's got. So yeah, so that's kind of the gist of the car. I'm super excited, but we're in the parts gathering stage, kind of like the Schroll 32. It takes a while to find the parts to put these cars together, and people have been asking what's going on with them, and really it's just I need certain parts to even start working on them, so that's why we haven't touched the stuff, and we're working on the cars like the Sweet Heart Roadster that I do have the parts for. So really exciting. It's going to be awesome. So we got a ton of cool videos coming up for this car. That's
Even this car this winter. Both of them are going to be hit pretty hard.
Yeah, even the Schroll car, we're almost to the point where we have enough parts we can start working on these cars and making some progress. Both of these cars, the nice thing is that the cars are solid enough that we don't have to like cut them in half and start over from scratch.
We're growing up, Matt. You and I started with the Sweet Heart Roadster and the Free T, which were literally broken in half.
Yeah,
look, you're so grown up. You got two whole cars that are sitting and rolling on their own.
That's crazy. It's crazy. It's becoming an adult and learning from my mistakes, so to speak.
Quote unquote.
So, anyways, it'll be fun. So that's the update on this car, where we're at, some of the stuff we have going on. So over this winter, I'm hoping to make some progress, but by no means is it going to jump in front of like Sweet Heart Roadster or anything like that. But this is definitely going to stuff will start happening over the next handful of months, which will be really awesome. So if you know anybody that has a couple of those parts I'm looking for, especially that adapter, please let me know. You can send us an email, irontrapgarage@gmail.com, or of course you can DM me on Instagram or whatever your form of social media is that you like to communicate. So that's all I have. Thanks guys. Catch you later.